talking to ourselves now. I love it.
Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to The Sounding. We aim to provide sexual trauma survivors with a path to healing in order to tell their stories. We always like to start with a disclaimer. We are experts in our own lived experiences, but we're not doctors, lawyers, therapists. We're just here having conversation in hopes that it helps people like ourselves, you, along the way.
Right. Because,
thanks for being here.
Yes, because ultimately we are referring to ourselves as the sounding, and that means that we want to help other people find their voice and sounding of survivors. So, like us, subscribe, share, please continue to talk about these real things. Look up other people that are out there that are also talking about these things, and let's really get this community rolling so that we can heal the collective. That's our plan.
Yes.
And speaking of the collective, so we have some what we call sacred healing practices, and at the end we try to share some with you, but today's video is specifically going to be on one of the most important sacred healing practices, which is rest. And
some people would say it's the most
the
important.
most, absolutely, because without it you have nothing.
Yeah.
And I think
I'm leaning towards being one of those people.
Right.
The older I get and the more I understand.
Understand it, right. Because I think we live in a society where we're very fast-paced. The early bird gets the worm. Napping is for children. Rest is for the wicked or whatever.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of
sleep when
things.
I die
Yeah.
type of mantras.
And it's not the case. Like, if you go out into the world grumpy because you haven't had enough sleep, then that's how you're impacting the world. And so resting is so important because our vibrations affect other people's vibrations. And when you have a low vibration because you're tired or angry, because you're really involved in what's going on in the world right now, which of course is indoctrinated media, thrown in our faces at all times, that the world is going to hell and there's no nice people out there. And I'm telling you, when you tune out from that, life becomes beautiful. Like, I'm not stressed about things the way that I used to be. And people always say,
because you're getting your beauty rest.
Right, like I'm not thinking about the news. And it's not because I don't care, it's just because it's gone on for the end of time or the beginning of time.
Well, we know what the news is.
And it will continue to.
If you don't know what the news is trying to do, then please.
Like, stop getting involved and allow yourself some rest and get involved in the things that really matter to you, because you can't be involved in everything. You can't save the environment and save the children.
Well, and you can't pour from an empty cup.
Oh, right. So
when I went to Utah in 2019 to a retreat through the, let me get this right, Unique Foundation. So Unique is like a makeup company, and they have a foundation where I had to pay for my own flight out there, but I got to go stay at this mansion in the mountains with other women survivors of childhood sexual trauma, and like up to age 18. So you had to be a survivor, right, within those years. But now a woman, adult. And they had workshops. We learned yoga, mindfulness. We smashed pots and glued them back together. Kintsugi, right? All these different things. Tai Chi. But one of my most impactful experiences there was when this lady came in and talked to us for 1 hour about the importance of sleep. And that was only 2019, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm 39, and I'm just learning about the importance of sleep.
Yeah.
And one of the things that stuck with me most was that when you really let yourself get that deep rest, your brain cleans itself out. Like, it cleans up the gray matter, I think is what they call it. And I just thought that was so fascinating, and it helped me appreciate and put sleep and rest as a top priority.
Yeah.
And if you ask Rich, my husband is a personal trainer. He's, very well knowledgeable in lots of things in the health in the human body, right? If you ask him what are the 3 main things that are important, he would say, in this order, rest, nutrition, and movement.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I agree definitely with the rest. Well, all of it. But I mean, I'm a big nutrition person too. Right.
But if you can't sleep,
and if you
rest.
can't sleep, and here's what I learned when I was training with one of the doctors that I trained with, that our bodies aren't meant to necessarily sleep for 8 hours in a row. Like, we were built to be farmers and to be out in the world doing things. And so short periods of sleep and rest and naps.
Exactly.
So
I heard it was like periods of like 4. Yeah. Like 4 hours of hard work, you go hard, then you sleep for 4. And then you get up again.
And we're not set up like that, but again, on purpose, we're not set up like that.
Yeah, the Industrial Revolution changed that. Yeah. They're like, ooh, let's get them in school to get them in the 9 to 5.
Right. Sorry. So, you know, you have to realize that napping is a beautiful thing, and that maybe you don't sleep all night long. Maybe you don't get your 8 hours. Maybe you come home from work and take a 2-hour nap and then have 4 hours and then you go back to, like, adjust your schedule. We don't have to live by the timelines that have been shoved down our throats. Right. We don't. We can do what we want to do. We are free, and we are reporting to the powers that be that have convinced us that going to bed at 10 o'clock, waking up at 6 o'clock, going to work, no naps, no rest. Like, this is ridiculous, and we're all just on the cog and making it happen, and we're exhausted human beings. And so it's important, I believe, for everybody to bring up their own energy, because that's all you can do. So, and I don't watch the news. It's not that I don't care about human beings. I don't care about the news because I don't trust it, nor do I believe it. And it's the same stuff year after year after year. I'm old enough to know that now. So what I would suggest for people, and I often do for my clients, is turn your phones off at night. Put them on airplane mode.
Put them in another room.
Don't have the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. Don't keep the TV going all night. Like, maybe listen to guided meditation if silence is too much, or white noise, or read something pleasant. But whatever you're thinking about before you go to bed is where your mind is going to be. I often just fantasize about my future when I'm going to bed.
Yeah,
what
same.
That's gonna look
I've been training myself to do that exact same thing. Like, why don't I just start, like, manifesting myself to sleep, essentially?
Sure. Right. And, you know, have a nice sleep routine or schedule. I like essential oils, so I like release oil on my liver because I know it helps me release my emotions through my dreams. And I like to have lavender on, or spray your pillow with it. Yeah. There are lots of things that I do before I go to bed to get my mind and my body prepared for it. And I love sleep. I do. And I don't feel bad about it anymore. I just enjoy it.
Well, and they also say don't do work in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, keep your bedroom
sacred space.
Your sacred sleep space. Set it up that way, like Dina's saying. Mm-hmm. Don't bring things in there that don't belong in there, that aren't going to be conducive to getting that restorative rest.
Right. And
set yourself up for success with
absolutely.
sleep. Ooh, someone should hire me.
I like it. And, you know, rest isn't just sleep. It's also taking a bath or meditating, or we talk about mindfulness. Let's talk about mindlessness. Mm-hmm. Like, that's rest too, where you're just doing something that's mindless.
If you're just sitting out on your deck looking into nature.
Watching the birds, or doing a puzzle. I like to talk about puzzles. Or for some people, it's cooking or going on a walk. But all of these things are rest. Rest isn't just sleeping. It's allowing the mind to rest, the body to rest, the soul to rest. Like, you know, stop the looping, stop the hypervigilance by doing some of the things that are peaceful. A sauna could be restful. Mm-hmm. So just incorporating that time into your day.
Do a sauna before bed. That sounds real nice.
It does sound like a sauna and a bath.
And
then, as far as, because we're talking about a healing practice, we're obviously not going to talk about a healing practice within this, but, you know, EMF, that's a big thing with 5G, electromagnetic frequencies. These are frequencies that we don't buffer well, and so they leave our nervous system feeling a little bit shaken sometimes. So you can get blockers on your phones, or even for your houses if you have anxieties or depressions. Sometimes it can just be that you have too much of this electrical energy coming your way, and so a really good way to help reset your nervous system. I'll say a little and then let the expert talk on it. But
not that much of an expert.
The vagus nerve is, the central nerve, and just humming is a really good way to reactivate that. So just simply, and it starts to create this energy within that nerve to help settle the nervous system.
Yeah, I mean, you took the words right out. I was just going to say that yoga, the practice of chanting is a beautiful way to tone. They call it toning the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is it's the biggest nerve in the body. They call it the wanderer, the wandering nerve, and it just goes all into all the organs, right? So imagine if that vagus nerve isn't settled, well, then what is happening to the body? Everything's getting affected. So again, this idea of toning it and just giving it love. And my favorite one is chanting.
Yeah. So do some chanting. Yes. We just did a little bit with you, but it does feel good. It tickles your lips, and
it does.
It's fun
and
stuff.
It is silly. It might feel silly, but it is a spiritual practice.
At one point, there was this whole the chanting monks. I don't know.
Oh,
and they were so popular, and everybody had their album. But I mean, there's something beautiful about that. So.
Yeah. So maybe put on some chanting music while you're resting.
Absolutely. So, but rest and, save your energy so that you have the words to get through the days and enjoy that journey to joy. Because when survivors speak,
the silence ends.
Like us, subscribe, share. We appreciate you. Comment.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Bye.